Okay, here's some thoughts or my thoughts on Jaron Boots Ennis. Um, I have no reason whatsoever to hate Jaron Boots Ennis. So before people start, in fact, Jaron Boots Ennis used to be a regular guest on Bwtm Sports. So yeah, back in the day. So he regularly come and do live shows. So I've got no reason to hate, but I have reason to have concern because early on in Boots' career, I always used to say that if you can punch in between his punches, there are vulnerabilities there. And I said that very early in his career. Now, I can't say I've tuned into every one of Boots' fights because I haven't. But I haven't really had the time. But I decided, right, let me tune in and see whether he's made improvements. He hasn't. You can still punch in between his punches, and you can still get caught, and he's getting caught with big shots by a guy who's his last fight I saw last night. He's a decent fighter. If that guy had any real pop, if that guy was a top puncher, so like a Terence Crawford, you know, we didn't have problems there. Yeah, I know he beat the David Adesanya, but yeah, there's David Adesanya, which I would call a European level fight, and then you're talking about fighting Terence Crawford. That's elite. He leaves himself wide open. Yes, he's got good combination punches. Yes, he looks good in spurts, but the way he gets caught with big shots, and not like flush big shots, chin in the air, landing, people able to land shots on him while he's throwing his shots, and he seems to pay little or no attention to his own defense, which is sloppy. And as you're moving up to elite fighters, which is what he's talking about, and they're calling Jaron Ennis a superstar, you can't have those. You can't have those vulnerabilities. You cannot have those vulnerabilities. You know, you're getting hit on the inside. You're getting hit on the outside. You know, and it's another thing which I find very annoying watching boxing. It seems today that everybody wants to fight like Floyd, and whilst that's good, and Floyd is like a supreme fighter, you know, Floyd didn't get hit with all them sort of shots all the time. Like, he got hit with shots, but there were guys who were top guys. You know, Chop Chop Corley was a world champion at one point, and he gave Floyd a tough fight. But that being said, Chop Chop Corley was a top fighter for a good while, a very good fighter, much better than this dude that Ennis had a rematch with, and that guy looked better, and Ennis doesn't look like he's improved. And to me, the impression I'm getting is that Ennis is going to keep fighting the way that he does until he meets someone who's going to punch in between his punches, catch him, hurt him, and knock him out. That's what I see is going to happen unless they make the adjustments. And I don't think they're going to make the adjustments. So it's a matter of time. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep on saying it. Fighters usually fight in patterns, and they usually give you a preview as to how they're going to get derailed by probably a fight previously or a few fights beforehand. So a top fighter will look at that and go, right, I know, I've got a punch when he punches. I've got a punch when he punches. If I punch in between his punches, I'm going to land. I'm definitely going to land. And it's all right saying, what's the expression? Don't, what do they say? They say something along the lines of, let me think that again. If it's not broke, don't fix it. It's broke, or it's going to break. And that's not good enough. You know, at that level, you're a TV fighter. You really need to be tightened up in your defense if you're going to fight the elites. So that's my belief on that. Those are my thoughts on that. Congratulations, you win, Boots Ennis. People say it's underwhelming performance, and people will say, well, you know, he had an off night and he can improve. Yeah, he can improve, but will he improve? It's not the case that can he improve. Of course he can improve, but will he improve? Will they see those punches that were landed last night as just something to ignore, or they see the real issue that's there, and the technical flaws that need to be adjusted. Great fighters need to be able to make adjustments, and a lot of these guys like to follow what Floyd does, but the difference between them and Floyd is Floyd A didn't get hit as much, and B, Floyd is able to make adjustments on the fly. That's the difference between a good fighter and a great fighter. If you're copying somebody, that's fine, but you have to have your own creativity in there. And if you're following Floyd, that's Floyd doing Floyd, but you're not Floyd. And when this shit hits the fan, as they say, you have nothing to go to but who you are. So it's all right taking great things from fighters, but you have to have your own greatness or adjustments. And I just saw Boots doing the same thing over and over and over again. Even when he's getting hit with big shots, still doing the same things. Still not judging the range right. Still walking in, even though his hands up, still getting caught with shots. And you definitely can't leave them sort of openings for somebody like Terence Crawford. I mean, this is why I don't understand these fighters. They course out like Terence Crawford. Now, you tell me how Boots would do any better than Spence. Okay, Spence may have been injured, or he may have not been at his best that night, but still, I don't see how Boots does a lot any better, because he's going to come in, he's going to get counter-punched hard, he's going to get check-hooked because he walks onto shots. So you can see him walking onto Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford is not a guy you want to be walking onto shots with. So I don't see how somebody can look at that fight against a guy who's fought before, and then Hearns talked about he wished he blew him out in a few rounds and stuff. It wasn't going to happen. So we need to stop overselling our fighters. To me, Jaron Ennis is not a star. He's a world champion. He's a good fighter, but he's not a superstar. Not yet, no. And I love Jaron, but it's like the cracks were always there. But as he moves up in levels and he moves up in competition, those defensive vulnerabilities are going to be exposed further and further unless they make changes. So that's just my thoughts on the Boots Ennis fight.